Hello, everybody. This is Appa Brian with Appa Baseball Classics, and we're back with my son-in-law Dan Mattingly and Justin Neely. Justin, of course, works nights, so I'll record him tomorrow and include him with our picks. So, Dan, I got home from we went to Arrows Rock in the travel trailer last weekend. I got home and I looked up to see how I was doing my picks, and it was looking pretty good.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Appa Brian finally wins 1 week, 13-3. Justin won 12 and you won 11, so we all did good. The name of this week is Mafia Monday. I'm sure fans are still jumping through tables in Buffalo after week 5 domination of the Chiefs.
Oh, yes. They looked very good in that game. The Chiefs' defense didn't put up much of a fight, and the offense, when you have to press as hard as they do to be perfect every play because they have to maximize everything all the time. The pressure on those guys is terrific, and Tyreek Hill dropped a lot of balls.
Yeah,
Did you notice that?
and one for a pick six.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was big.
Still, Mahomes did not play a good game. It was the worst game he's played since he's been a Chief. And I think it is what you say. They feel like they got to score 7 every time because the defense can't stop anybody.
Yeah. It's a tough situation for any quarterback. And it's, I don't think they have an answer. Do you?
There's too many questions to answer on that defense. So they may come up with 1 or 2 answers. Nice to see Willie Gay get back on the field. And the kid from Michigan, 51, what was his name again?
Bolton?
Mike Dana.
Dana looked good. Yeah,
he's looked good every week. He's really playing well. All right, this week we're short on games, so nobody is going to win 13 games this weekend. There are only 14. New York, Atlanta, New Orleans, and San Francisco all have byes. And probably most of those teams don't like getting a bye this early in a 17-week season, but there is one team, which I'll let you guess, which I'm sure they're elated they have a bye right now. Which of those 40 that is?
The 49ers need it more than any team. They've just been ravaged by injuries.
Yeah,
it's been rough for them.
And
I don't love that roster if they don't have the full complement of offensive players, because the defense isn't near what it was in the past. I think they actually do miss having a guy like Richard Sherman to really even out the defensive backfield.
Yeah. So Thursday night game, Tampa at Philly.
So this is almost a trap game for the Bucs, it feels like, but I will take them. Philly looks good. They're at home. They've kind of figured out what I think ailed them on offense. I think that they're fairly weak at the running back position, but it doesn't really matter because Jalen Hurts can help them in the same way that Lamar Jackson helps the Ravens. But I think that Tampa just they have too many weapons, and I think Brady is just on fire this season.
Well, he shredded the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it was like 411 yards, 5 touchdown passes, and no interceptions. So I'm also taking the Tampa Bay Rays. Or Tampa Bay.
Them too. Bucks. Yeah, they're very good too.
No, Rays are done. Hi, Justin. How you doing?
Good.
Our first game is the Thursday night game, Tampa Bay at Philadelphia.
I've got Tampa here. Jalen Hurts is coming along okay, but I think the Tampa Bay offense is just going to be too much.
I agree. Brady had five touchdown passes, 411 yards last week, and he may do much the same against Philadelphia. Although Philadelphia, I think, is coming along better than I thought they would. We were all on Tampa Bay. And that's going to be a flight to London, another London game early on Sunday morning. Miami Dolphins at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I like the Jags. I don't know why, other than the Dolphins really just – they can't move the ball. Do we know if Tagovailoa's going to play Tua?
I think they're planning on practicing. He's still listed as questionable for the week, but he's going to be practicing this
It
week.
will be practicing. See,
Mhm.
that's a tough thing making the picks this early in the week. Yeah. You know, as bad as Jacksonville's been, they're the most used to playing over in London, and I'm betting you and Justin are taking Miami. So I'm going to take Jacksonville.
Okay, I got you down for Jacksonville, and that could be a good pick because, like you say, there's big quarterback problems at Miami. Brissett's nursing a hamstring, and I don't know what an 8-hour flight to London will do to a hamstring. That's not quite right, but it can't help. So, yeah, Miami's, again, their pass defense was shredded, but they do have so much speed on that defense.
It is a good defense.
So I'm thinking that Trevor Lawrence will make some mistakes, and I am picking Miami. But this is a hope.
Yeah, right. Well, this is the tough thing with the London games. I mean, they fly in on they either pick to fly in on Thursday or Friday. You're at least 8 hours off on your body clock the whole weekend, and you have to go play a football game. It's a tough deal.
And they're setting up now to play a game in Germany. Or maybe next year.
Yeah, the London Jaguars. I'm really not liking Miami right now. Their defense has been on the downslide this whole year, basically. Now, Jacksonville, they haven't won a game yet, but I think this is going to be their first one. I think their running back Robinson is going to carry them to victory this weekend.
It'll be the first one in 20 weeks. I'm just concerned about Urban Meyer. I don't think he's doing a good job in Jacksonville. His game plan is like, I'm going to run the ball for 250 yards and pass the ball for 250 yards. That's what I want to do. No NFL team has ever carried a 250-yard average in the history of the NFL. He's not in the colleges anymore. There's been one, I think, that did 225 and a few others over 200, but generally you can't do that in the NFL. So basically, he's showing up every week with an unrealistic game plan. That's just not happening. So I don't see him getting the first win. I know Miami's got lots of problems. Tua is practicing now, so he might be back. You've got Jacksonville, and so does Dan. I picked Miami. Next game is the first of the Sunday morning games after the London game, first of the noon games. Minnesota Vikings at the Carolina Panthers.
This is a tough one, for me at least. I think the Vikings have had some bad luck, but they did not play well last week and just eked out a win. The Panthers, are they getting any receivers back for sure? Because when I looked this morning, it was all very questionable.
Yeah, I don't know that they are, but isn't McCaffrey back practicing?
McCaffrey is back practicing, and he's the key to that offense. I think that the Vikings might struggle to score this year, and the Panthers' defense is good enough to keep them low enough that the Panthers should win, I think.
So you got Carolina. I also have Carolina. Minnesota's Kirk Cousins just having his best year ever. But the running game has been disappointing in Minnesota. So I am going with Carolina.
Okay, this is a tough one to pick. Carolina's pass defense has been strong this year. They got a little torched last week, but I think that's just because of the team they played. Now, their offensive line is struggling. Sam Darnold's getting hit a lot and getting sacked. And Minnesota's got a great pass rush. Offensively, with what's going on. Both teams are down to their backup running backs. Well, McCaffrey and Cook are both possible, but both of their backups are great. Hubbard and the Minnesota backup have been filling in well. So I kind of look at the quarterbacks now, and I think I like Cousins a little bit more than Darnold. I think this will be a very close game, but I think Minnesota is going to come out on top.
Next game could be an AFC playoff game. Los Angeles Chargers at the Cardiac Kids, the Baltimore Ravens.
It's a great game, two great teams. Tough to bet against either, really. If I had to put my money down, I would stay away from this game. But if I'm making a pick, how do you pick against the Chargers after last week? They were so impressive. The coaching, as you said, you were raving about that first-year coach, and he's the difference for that team, other than the fact that Justin Herbert looks like he was put on the planet to play quarterback.
Yeah.
And their defense is not great against the run, which scares me against Baltimore. But I think Herbert and the offense, with the emergence of, I think Mike Williams might be a superstar under Justin Herbert. That receiver is on an absolute tear. I'll take the Chargers.
I'm also taking the Chargers in this game. Baltimore came out with a determination to throw the ball last week, and they threw the ball for over 400 yards, and everybody's talking about what a passing quarterback Jackson is.
They also blew the chance to be the longest consecutive 100-yard rushing team by doing that.
But that was by choice. Yeah, they just yeah. So Justin Herbert is just unflappable. It doesn't matter what the situation is, who he's playing. If it's going well, he's the same guy. If it's going great, he's the same guy. He is so poised. And he is locked in with all those big receivers. So I'm picking the Chargers. Next game is the Chargers at Baltimore.
Okay. Baltimore basically lost to the Colts. The pass defense got absolutely torched by Wentz. He had over 400 yards. The Chargers' passing attack has been giving everybody problems. The Browns have an excellent pass defense, but last week they got torched by the Chargers. Mike Williams he's having a monster season. He's pacing for over 1,000 yards and probably double-digit touchdowns this year. The only reason Baltimore won last week is because Indianapolis kicker missed like 2 extra points and a clutch field goal at the end of the game. He missed that too. I'm taking the Chargers in this game.
We are all on the Chargers, but it could be a preview of the playoffs. It should be a great game. Next game is the Los Angeles Rams at the New York Giants.
I like the Rams. I don't think I need to spend very much time on this one, but I think Daniel Jones will be out with the concussion. And they looked okay against Dallas until he did. They were moving the ball okay, even with Saquon going down with the ankle. But, Saquon Barkley is just perpetually hurt. I think he's the most snake-bit superstar that we have. He hasn't played enough games to give him that label yet, in my opinion. Enormous talent there. I don't love the Giants' defense. I don't love their offense without even the questionable pieces that they had in those top two spots. The Rams should win this easy.
Yeah, I think it's not 100% sure that all three are out. Galloway's also injured. So Barkley is out and Doug Jones is out, but it's not guaranteed that they'll miss. But they're not going to be completely healthy if they play.
No.
And I think it will be an easy one for the Rams over the Giants.
The Giants have a lot of problems right now. Their offensive line hasn't been doing great. Jones got banged up last week. So the Giants D is leaking oil. Barkley's injured. He's out. Kenny Galladay's injured. He's out. There's just too many problems happening over there. And the Rams are a great football team, as we know. So I'm going to pick the Rams.
Next game is Houston Texans and Indianapolis Colts.
The Texans they're going to have a tough season. The Colts, couple breaks here and there, they could have beat the Ravens pretty easy. Missed field goal, all that good stuff. Wentz has looked very un-Wentz-like lately. He's been fairly steady. Still makes a couple weird mistakes every game, but he's good enough to beat this Texans team.
I was impressed by their running backs. They're fast. And
Taylor,
yeah, Taylor's fast, and I think Mack is the other one.
Is it Hines, Najee, or no?
They got three of them.
They've got three guys that they play, and it's a good attack.
Yeah, they've got some good running backs, and the defense. That linebacker Leonard is outstanding.
Yeah, phenomenal.
So I'm picking Indianapolis to beat the Texans. I think that'll be easy.
Okay, so as I said earlier, Indianapolis basically beat Baltimore last week, except for their kicker. I kind of like how their passing attack is coming together lately. They have a great tight end. And Jonathan Taylor seemed to pick up some momentum last week.
He's fast.
Quite. Houston, I don't think they have a chance. I'm taking Indianapolis.
Next game is Kansas City at the Washington football team.
Well, Washington's plucky, we'll say. They can play with some people. The Chiefs, when I was doing a little bit of my research this week, I was looking at it, and there's a good article. The Chiefs are actually making every team they play look like they're as good of an offense as the 2001 Rams, the greatest show on turf. They're allowing over 7 yards a play.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
It's embarrassing. But I think that the Chiefs get things back on track. I think that Washington's defense, as we mentioned, is not as advertised. And I think if the Chiefs can put up over 30 points, it's going to be tough for Washington to keep up.
I agree. I think the Chiefs will put up points. That the offensive line will protect Mahomes. And I don't think Mahomes will make the mistakes that he made, the missed passes last week. Kansas City, their defense, I've been talking about this every week. They have issues all over the field, and I just don't see them fixing it. They have now squandered.
Oh, sorry.
We're third of the way through the season. They've squandered a chance for home field advantage. All the three top teams in the AFC hold the advantage over the Chiefs because we've lost to them. And so there's no chance that we're going to host another home playoff game. And we'll have to play the extra playoff game. And they'll all be on the road. And a lot of people around here are not sure we'll even make the playoffs.
It's true. I mean, they're going to have to play. If you look at the schedule, they're not playing very many teams that you can just expect to win against. Yeah, Washington's a tough team.
I think the next 3 weeks are winnable, but they lost 4 in 2019. They had a stretch where they lost 4 out of 6 games. But I wasn't scratching my head saying, "Oh my gosh," It wasn't like they had issues all over the defense. And they righted the ship and won the Super Bowl. Even came up with the best record and had home field advantage thanks to the Dolphins beating the Patriots.
Yes.
But it's getting harder and harder to see a comeback like that this year. And I don't know how we can stay with. They're pointing to the third quarter last week as being a good defensive quarter. We've had one good defensive quarter the entire season, and we're a third of the way through the season.
Sure.
So, you're sure you're going to pick the Chiefs?
I haven't not yet, and it bit me last week. It's bit me a few weeks now. But I like them against Washington. I think that Washington's going to have a few more offensive hiccups than we've seen, similar to the Eagles.
Okay, the 2-3 Chiefs and the 2-3 Washington football team. Who goes to 2-4? One team
Okay.
7 yards per play on defense.
Yeah, both defenses here they're not good. I would expect Mahomes to go off. I mean, you look at what he did against the Eagles defense, who probably have a better defense than Washington does. And he got over 40 points against the Eagles. I don't see Heineke scoring quite as much as we can. I don't think Heineke has enough weapons over there. If you take away McLaurin, who are they going to give the ball to? I mean, they do have Gibson, but I think we just have more people to be watching out for on offense. So I'm taking Kansas City in this game.
We all picked the Chiefs. Next game is the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. It's not going to be an easy pick.
No. The Packers seem to play down to good defenses. They just don't have a way. They can beat the bad defenses, but Chicago has a better than average defense. And it's in Chicago. Those fans are going to be up for this game. They always are. One of the best rivalries in the league, even if the teams aren't very good. I picked the Packers just because I think the Bears will miss David Montgomery so much in a game like this.
All right, I've got Green Bay as well, but it was hard to figure this one. Justin Fields is getting more time on the field, and Chicago's defense is serious. And there's some defensive injuries on the Packers side. So I think with a little bit loosened up defense of Green Bay, they weren't awesome last week against Cincinnati. So I think Chicago's got a chance, but I am picking Green Bay.
Well, Chicago, they had a great defensive game last week against the Vegas Raiders. But their offensive line is still struggling. It's probably one of the worst in the NFL this year. And Green Bay's pass rush has started coming into that form that I was expecting at the beginning of the season, but it wasn't there. But now it's showing up. And that's going to cause a lot of problems for Fields, who is just kind of taking baby steps. He seems to be getting slightly better every week, but it's not happening fast enough for Chicago to be able to compete with Green Bay this week. And plus, Green Bay has Devontae Adams, who everyone knows is probably about to get the ball when it's a clutch situation and nobody can prevent it from happening.
Yeah.
So I have to go with Green Bay.
I think Montgomery, the running back of Chicago, is still injured. So that means Damian Williams and Khalil Hebert, I think, is the other one. They split duties last week. Montgomery's a really good player. If he was playing, I'd feel a lot better about Chicago's chances, but he's not. I don't think in Green Bay. Their pass rush should be overwhelming. I agree with you. And we all pick Green Bay. Now we come to the last of the early games on Sunday. That's the Cincinnati Bengals at the Detroit Lions.
I like Cincinnati. I think that they have an electric team. They play good ball. I am a little worried because of the hospitalization of Joe Burrow after the game. That was a little scary. It sounded like he couldn't talk. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he got poked in the
in the neck there. I don't think it'll affect him physically this week, and I think that all over the field, Cincinnati is a better ball club than Detroit.
Cincinnati, I think, is tougher up front, and the Burrows to Chase combination is one of the best combinations in the league right now. Detroit has lost 2 games, by 50-yard field goals in the last seconds. That's the only time that's happened in the NFL. They are sick, snake bit, and I kind of like their coach. I mean, you can tell he loves his team, and he's a good, hard-nosed coach, and he's got them playing hard. They just don't have enough talent. And I don't think they have enough talent to get past the Bengals. All right, Cincinnati at Detroit.
Okay, I'm not happy with Detroit still about the 2 picks and losing the 2 picks earlier when I picked them. They keep playing these close games and they keep losing them. I don't think this is the week to start trying to pick them again either. I like what Cincinnati's got going on with their passing attack with Boyd and Jamar Chase. So I'm going to pick Cincy.
Sunday, 3 o'clock games. There's only 3 of them. Try picking this one.
Oh,
Cardinals.
I didn't want to pick.
And the Cleveland Browns.
There you go. Well, the Browns fell last, right? So that should tell me something. So the Cardinals are cooking, and you want to ride the hot hand in a game like this. I think that their defense is a lot better than I expected it was going to be. And I think that Cleveland collapsed last week in a way that I really didn't expect. I had them in that Chargers game, and I mean, they played great the first 3 quarters, really, and then kind of fell apart, in my opinion. I think that Baker is going to struggle to beat elite quarterbacks, and when Kyler Murray is healthy, he's an elite quarterback. I have the Cards.
Okay, we do have a pick that we disagree on.
Yes.
Chandler Jones, our top pass rusher, is out with COVID. That came through today. So they're not going to have their best pass rusher. And their passing game wasn't great last week. The big problem I see is the Arizona Cardinals are one of the weakest at stopping the run. They're giving up 5.4 yards per carry. And Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are got to be chopping their lips. The offensive line, they're looking forward to this.
They're excited about the Chargers too.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chargers can't stop the run either.
Cleveland is going to run the ball, and they're going to control the ball and keep the ball out of Kyler Murray's hands pretty much, I think. So that's why I think Cleveland will win.
Yeah. Well, it all depends on whether or not the Cardinals can get out to an early lead. If that happens, it takes Chubb and Hunt out of the game pretty quick.
Well, Murray is throwing some beautiful passes, and he seems to be figuring out how to get it over those taller defensive linemen than him. He's like accurately throwing it over their hands and still getting it to the right spot, which I find very fascinating. Their offense is really taking off. Now Cleveland, I want to give a shout out to Baker Mayfield. He got fined for this, I'm sure, but it needed to be done. The NFL referees need to be called out for their ridiculous pass interference calls and pass interference no calls. That penalty, I think, just needs to be reevaluated. Like, it's too game changing when there's a PI call for like a bomb pass that's like 50 yards and it's like late in the game. That's so game changing. They need to divide the yards by 2, in my opinion, for that penalty. That it can't be the spot of the foul. That's too much.
So something between the college rule and the pro rule. 15 yards is not enough because they PI in college on purpose rather than give up the touchdown. But
Yeah.
that's some interesting thinking, yeah.
But yeah, so I like Baker Mayfield for making that call out on how the referees did a terrible job and they lost to the Chargers pretty much because of their terrible PI calls. Now this game, it's gonna be, I think this is the game of the week between Arizona and Cleveland. This is really hard. I had to think a lot about this game. The Cleveland pass defense, they're pretty decent. And then there's Nick Chubb, who had a huge game last week. And Arizona has not been great against the run this year.
Giving up 5.4 yards per carry.
Yeah, so I'm really nervous about this, but I think Arizona's about to suffer their first loss this year. I think Cleveland's going to win.
We all come down on Cleveland. A lot of Murray's passes are on the run. You know, he flushes out of the pocket, and I think that's how he gets the ball away and not get passes deflected pretty regularly. But now he's going to be chased by Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Garrett might catch him. He is fast. Another difficult pick here in the afternoon games is the Cowboys at the New England Patriots.
I think the Cowboys can score too quickly and too much for the Patriots to keep up with. I like the Patriots. I like that team. I like Mac Jones. I just don't think they can keep up.
Yeah, I also like the Patriots, Mac Jones. He's 71% passing. And other than Trevon Diggs, the secondary in Dallas is not very good. I can't believe that people are still throwing anywhere near Diggs. Another pick last week. Plus, he had a couple of others that were nearly picked. Why does anybody try to pass his way? I don't know. Dallas is missing their top pass rusher, and they haven't sacked the quarterback very much this year.
But
So
they haven't needed to.
that will help Mac Jones. But yes, the offense, as you say, is way too much. I think it's going to be Dallas.
This is an easy pick. And speaking of picks, Diggs is probably due for another one off this rookie quarterback. I'm picking Dallas to win.
Yeah, he had one last week, and he could have had a couple of others. He was very close to getting. I don't know why, and I told Dan this, I don't know why any quarterback is still testing him. I would say he's passed the test, and that would make him one of the last options to go that way. Now the Las Vegas Raiders, without John Gruden, will be playing the Denver Broncos.
So this is a shaky one, and I was looking again. It looks like Bridgewater might play this game.
He played last game, didn't he?
Yeah, but I wasn't sure. They had released an injury report, but
Yeah, he passed for about 288 yards. It was like a middle of the road game for him.
Yeah. I think it's tough for the Raiders this week just because of the coaching issues with Gruden, who we may never hear from again. It's pretty bad for him right now, but you can't. It's reprehensible what he did, so he shouldn't be in the public eye anymore. I'll take the Broncos. I think the Raiders are a better team, but I like the Broncos at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Denver as well. Although it might be an advantage to Las Vegas if they don't have Gruden anymore, because I think he was one of their biggest problems. That's a talented football team, so I'm pretty nervous about this pick. Bridgewater is still there. I would definitely, if Bridgewater was out, I would definitely pick Vegas.
Yeah.
But, with all the upheaval and distraction, I don't know what it was like in practice this week. It just the one thing I'm wondering is a lot of those emails were to Allen with the Washington football team, and they went for years and they didn't say anything about it.
Yeah. Well, the Washington football team has been
Not
exactly a pillar of truth and justice for the past 20 years since Dan Snyder came on board.
And they're under investigation, so it's going to be interesting to see if anything else comes out of it. I would rather guess the NFL might sweep under the rug other emails, but I just wonder how that got past the Washington football team. So we both have Denver over Las Vegas.
Okay. So Denver, they are 28th in the league on converting third downs offensively. And okay, so they played 3 easy teams to start the season. They got wins there and they were looking great. But now they've played the Ravens. They didn't even score 10 points against the Ravens, and they lost to them. And now they've lost to Pittsburgh as well. And they also made Ben Roethlisberger look good in that game. And we all know how Ben's been struggling lately. And the Pittsburgh offense, Najee Harris, their running back, was able to take off a little bit against Denver as well. Las Vegas, they just lost their coach. I'm not sure why people still care about things that were said 10 years ago, but I'm not going to get into that.
Okay.
Las Vegas struggled last week, but I think they're going to bounce back against Denver. And I think their players are going to play hard for their new coach. I think Denver's kind of regressing right now, and I don't see them getting their momentum back against the Raiders, so I'm picking the Raiders this week.
And then the Sunday night game, the Seattle Seahawks go to Pittsburgh.
Well, always hard to play in Pittsburgh, and they looked pretty good last week, but I like Seattle. I think they well, the tough part is with Russ being out. I think that Geno Smith is a better NFL quarterback right now than Ben Roethlisberger. And he showed some things when he was in there where he was moving the ball fairly well. I think the refs completely ignored a PI where basically I think Tyler Lockett got tackled going across the middle and they just swallowed their whistles for whatever reason. Pittsburgh may have figured something out that I'm missing on offense, but I think that Seattle may have more than they can handle.
I was back and forth on this, but I don't know why, but I'm settling on Pittsburgh. I have no confidence in Roethlisberger. He actually had a good game last week. The thing about Geno Smith is that I saw that game like you did, but The criticism of him is that he doesn't have necessarily lasting power. Like he'll show moments of brilliance and then other moments.
But does
So
Roethlisberger have any staying power anymore?
yeah, that's true. Again, I'm not confident in the pick, but I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh.
Okay. I'm pretty shocked at how Ben Roethlisberger played last week. And I think he might be able to do even better this week. Seattle's defense is as atrocious as the Chiefs' defense this year. It's terrible. They can't stop anybody. And Pittsburgh's defense will certainly keep them in the game. Russell Wilson is out. Geno Smith is, as we know, running that offense right now. I think Pittsburgh is probably going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. Dan picked Seattle. Now I need to change for the Monday night game. Let me change my background for the Buffalo Tennessee Titan game. It's going to be Bills Mafia time.
There we go.
Right.
Yes, the Mafia game. I like it. Tennessee has been one of the most up and down teams this season. The bright spot being that Derrick Henry is on pace to break Eric Dickerson's rushing record, especially with the extra game. He's on pace to run for 2,176 yards. He'd break the record by 70. I'd love to see it happen. I think that he's a special, once-in-a-generation player. He's able to rack up carries unlike any other back I've seen in years now. And just an absolute monster. That being the case, I don't think they have a whole lot else going for them. The defense isn't there. And Josh Allen and the Bills should win this game.
I got you down, Buffalo. If there's any team in the NFL built to stop Derrick Henry, I would imagine it'd be the Bills. They have an eight-man rotation on that defensive line, and they are more physical than they were last year. They held up against a really good offensive line for the Chiefs. And the defensive end that made that interception, that was an incredible play.
Wasn't it? That was great.
There's really athletes on that Bills team. Josh Allen's play where he jumped over the guy, we're going to be looking at that highlight the rest of the year probably. And Allen is just week by week, he's just getting better. He was really an average quarterback first 2 years. And he got good last year, and he's getting even better this year, although that was the Chiefs. But he's showing it week in, week out. He is a superstar. And I think right now, if Brendan Staley was not in the league, coaching the Chargers, I would say the Bills are favored to be the AFC Super Bowl representative. But I'm still hot on the Chargers. Love the coach. And that's going to be quite the championship game. The Chargers at Buffalo. It's a little early to pick the AFC Championship game, but that's what it's looking like to me.
Yeah, without injuries, it's tough to see anybody else stepping into that spot.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen injury-wise, but the Chiefs need to do something like what Buffalo did. You know, they saw they needed to be more physical. I've been talking about that all year, and that's what they did. They rebuilt that defensive line, and they are more physical. And
yeah, they have an 8-man rotation.
Yeah,
that's Chiefs, incredible.
Yeah, the Chiefs used to rotate more players on the defensive line, but they haven't got them now. In fact, they're really short on the defensive line right now with the wrist injury to Chris Jones. And
defensive back.
They're short at linebacker, and they're short everywhere on defense. But I think we need to rebuild our defensive line as well. That penalty against Frank Clark, though, he was not driving, and that was on the interception play, which could have changed the game. He was already in the air when the quarterback threw the ball, and there was nothing else he could do but fall on the guy, and he didn't drive him into the turf. They were there were a lot of penalties in that Chiefs game. last week, and they were throwing too many flags. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it makes the game almost unwatchable when they throw that many flags. I mean, the announcers were going on and on about it, and it was one of those where, there were so many stoppages, and then you've got the weather to deal with. It was like a 5-hour game. People don't want to watch a 5-hour game.
That was enough.
I can't have 6 penalties within the first 5 minutes. That's crazy.
And really, the Bills had some flags thrown at them though, where they didn't do penalties. So I mean, it was both ways. But that one on the roughing the passer on the interception was a horrible penalty, and that definitely changed the game.
Mm-hmm. It was a good swing when the Chiefs really needed a swing.
Bills Mafia, they're still jumping through tables in Buffalo. They're on top of the AFC right now, basically. Them and the Chargers. Buffalo at Tennessee.
Yeah, so that Buffalo offense is looking unstoppable. Looks like the Chiefs offense last couple of years. Now, Tennessee, they are kind of losing momentum right now. Derrick Henry is always still doing great, but I feel like they kind of played too close of a game with Jacksonville. Their run defense is not doing well.
That could be a look-ahead game. Sometimes teams let up against the weak teams when they've got somebody like Buffalo on their schedule.
True.
Mhm.
I don't see the Tennessee pass defense competing though. And Buffalo, their pass defense, I can see that pass defense shutting down Ryan Tannehill. So I'm going to pick Buffalo for sure.
And we all picked Buffalo. So thank you, Justin, for joining us. Another great week of picks. I think we're going to have a good week. Last week was our best. I did 13-3. You were 12-4, and Dan was 11-5. So we all did well. Should have another good week. You're leading all together. You've won 3 weeks. I won 1, and Dan's won 1, and you're at 65% for the year. I think that number will also go up.
I hope so. I've made some picks this week that are a little bit different, so I'm a little worried, but we'll see how it works out.
Now, we never really know what's going to happen, but you can kind of look at things. The Vegas game is the biggest question mark in my mind. How are the Vegas players going to respond? What was their week of preparation like? All those questions, but trouble on Denver's side too. So anyway, thanks for joining us, and I'll put your picks interspersed with ours as we've done in past weeks. Enjoy your Sunday.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. Well, Dan, we're more than a third of the way through the season, and you're at 60% picks. We both got off the rough starts. I'm at 62, and Justin is at 65% on his picks. I think it's only going to be uphill going up from here. I think we'll do better.
Oh yeah, we're learning. Well, me especially.
No, I've enjoyed your commentary. Thanks for coming on. We will see you next week.
See you then. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, I think I stopped recording. So, we got back from, my phone went belly up about a month ago, so I had to redo it. And I didn't include all the apps I used to have. But it's not telling me when I get phone calls like I used to, and it doesn't tell me when I get texts like I used to. So unless I'm checking it all the time, I don't know.
Huh.
Not sure what to do about that.
Yeah, I was just calling to explain that I didn't want to come over Monday because I needed to do some things around my house.
Yeah, and you probably didn't want to see that mess anyway. It was bad.
Well, yeah, no. So I was watching highlights of the other games, but there's this some YouTube guy that does like Chiefs reports completely spoiled it because he's got the score posted on his video like as the title screen of his video. And so I see it in huge letters, Chiefs 20, Bills 38, and I'm like, oh shoot, well.
And the game was probably not even that close. Um, the um, the YouTube channels that follow the Chiefs, most of them are in severe depression. Like Shaggy Shane and his friend, they're saying that they don't think the Chiefs will even make the playoffs. Of course, they've already blown home field advantage. The 2 games behind the top teams, and the top teams all hold the tiebreaker over us. So we forget about another home championship game. But I kind of agree with them. With our defense, I'm not sure we're going to the playoffs. We got another game with the Chargers, and 2 with the Raiders. That could be 3 losses there.
I don't know. I don't know if the Raiders are that scary, really.
They beat us last year, and
Yeah.
I don't think we're really handling. We have struggled, including the last 4 or 5 games of last year, and especially the Super Bowl last year. This 2 deep safety thing. We should be running the ball more because we can outnumber them in the box every time. We should get 5 yards a carry and sometimes 15 yards.
Yeah.
And do that until they bring those safeties out. I don't think we have not been patient. We've run the ball a little bit, but not like we need to get them out of that defense. And on the other hand, why not still try to throw the ball deep? Because the offensive line is playing well. Mahomes is having time. And so stop this 5-yard passes. Mahomes is like low in the league in 20-yard completions and above. Daniel Jones and some of those quarterbacks have more 20-yard completions than Mahomes has. He's like in the bottom 5 on that because we're not trying to throw the ball downfield. And I think we still can with our receivers and the talent that we have and the offensive line that we have. So make up your mind. You're either going to challenge those deep defenses, or if you pull it in, then run the ball like you mean it and bring them out of that defense. We're kind of doing in between, and it's not working. So I could see I could see Andy Reid struggling with that all year long. That's why I'm really seriously concerned that we're probably not going to make the playoffs. Where are we going?
We'll see. Let's see. We have Washington, and then who are we playing next week? We're playing Tennessee next after Washington.
Yeah. And then I think Denver.
We could be 5-3 after the next 3 games. Maybe.
With the worst defense that I've ever seen a Chiefs team have. We might be, but it's probably going to be 4-4.
Yeah, we'll probably the one out of those 3 that we'll probably lose to would be Tennessee.
Yeah, we'll see how Tennessee does with their game this week. I'm not sure. Buffalo could destroy them, or they might give Buffalo a game. I don't know. We'll see. Derrick Henry's having a good season.
Yeah.
But I think if there is a team, and I told this to Dan, if there's a team that's designed to stop Derrick Henry, it should be Buffalo, because they really beefed up their defensive line, got more physical, and they got in a rotation of 8 guys that they run in there on the defensive line. So if anybody should stop Derrick Henry, it should be Buffalo.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, well, there it is. I'll start editing this and see how it goes. Do you have any plans this weekend? I think Susanna's in town.
Yeah. I need to talk with them and try and line something up.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, you have a good day. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.